The next one here I got at Barnes & Noble on sale again. It was only $7.98. It's a hardcover book with a dust jacket. I feel like for a nice book like this for $7-8, it's easy money. It's a no-brainer. This is Grimm's Complete Fairy Tales. And included in this set, or this book, you get the likes of the Frog King, Tom Thumb, the Young Giant, the Elves, the Singing Bone, the Skillful Huntsman, the Dog and the Sparrow, so much. The Wolf and the Fox, Wolf and the Man. The Valiant Little Tailor. The Three Black Princesses. The Juniper Tree, the Old Woman in the Wood, Snow White and the Red, and the Rose Red. So much goodness here. And for $7-8, you can't beat that. It's a must-own, in my opinion. I love that kind of stuff. And here's a book I've had for probably 30 years. This is the Ultimate Encyclopedia of Mythology. This was one of the first mythology books I purchased. I was just a teenager when I bought this. I've read through this several times. Really glossy, thick pages. And this probably has 500 pages, I would say, or close to it. Yeah, over 500, so that's 511 right there. And it's really packed with information because the print is so small, so they really cram a lot of info on the 500 pages. This will keep you busy for a while. And in this set you'll get stuff like, let's see if they have the table of contents, or does it just jump right into it? I don't remember. Yeah, it looks like there's no table of contents. Here it is. The myths of Greece and Rome, Celtic world, Egypt and West Asia, Nordic, South and Central Asia, East Asia. Everything is covered in this book. Okay, so we're about 2/3 done, and we're going to keep moving on here. This was a book that I got at Barnes & Noble as well. This is called the Rue Morgue Library, 200 alternative horror films you need to see. And it's just basically, it's a pretty cool guide that goes through and gives a little rundown about movies you may have not heard of before or seen before. Chances are most of you guys who are watching this channel have seen a lot of these, or most or all, but just in case, it's a cool little guide to go through and check out. Really nice edition that Rue Morgue put out a couple years ago, I believe. 2 or 3 maybe. Let's see. 2012 already. One of my favorite authors of all time is H.P. Lovecraft. And this is a little compilation book. This was easily a no-brainer for me for $8, even a little bit less with the discount, to get great tales of horror on a hardcover book with a dust jacket. So there you got, a lot of people mispronounce that first one. They call it Cthulhu, and it's actually Cthulhu. The Lurking Fear, Dagon, Dunwich Horror. So many good short stories here. Herbert West Reanimator, The Shadow Out of Time. Really, really nice edition. A compilation of his stories. And it's a really thick book too. It's 600 pages. So you will definitely get your money's worth and then some out of this. The next one is one of the gems in my collection. This is the complete history of Friday the 13th by Peter Bracke. Foreword by Sean S. Cunningham. Crystal Lake Memories. And it's signed there by Sean S. Cunningham. I think that's who that is. And then that is Peter Bracke right there. I believe that is Sean S. Cunningham. I'll have to double check that signature. That's what Sean's signature is supposed to look like. It does resemble it, so I'm going to go with that's who it is. But this doesn't really need any introduction. I'm sure most of you have this or have seen it already. It's just a magnificent book from my favorite franchise, packed with info on all the movies and characters and actors. Just a beautiful edition. I'm pretty jealous when I see guys show their edition that's like completely signed up by almost everybody who had anything to do with any of these movies. I'm really jealous about that, but I'm glad that I got the two that I have. I've never been to a horror con before. I would love to go. If anybody has any info about a horror con in their area and you'd like to hook up and go to one with walnuts, let me know. I could try to figure out a way to get down by you and go through and walk a horror con with you. I'd love to go to Texas Frightmare at some point, but unfortunately with the situation now with this virus going around, I doubt that Texas Frightmare is going to go on this year, at least not at the time it's supposed to. They may have canceled it already, I'm not sure. Here's another one that's signed up. This has two signatures on it. This is Ralph Bakshi's, the complete Ralph Bakshi book called Unfiltered. And Ralph Bakshi is a artist and a film director. Has a lot of different art. Created a lot of notable characters over the years and a lot of movies that have gone to DVD and Blu-ray. Fritz the Cat, Heavy Traffic, Coonskin, Wizards, Lord of the Rings, American Pop, Fire and Ice. All of those have been released on, I believe all of them are on Blu-ray by now, but they've all been on media, physical media, some form or another at some point. And did I show you the other signature? I don't remember. There was a better signature over here somewhere. Probably passed it up over here. There we go. Ralph Bakshi. So he signed this up twice. And this is a beautiful coffee table book. It shows a lot of the stuff from his early days, contracts, some pre-production art, some stuff that never quite made it, some concept drawings. He had a different style, but it was really cool. It's not really like anybody else's style. He had his own distinct animation style. And it's a really nice book. There's a Brink Vision sticker in here. It absolutely has nothing to do with the book. I'm not sure why that's in there, but big shout out to Brink Vision. Love their company. They're a movie distributor. They do a lot of work with Jeff Wedding and his films. Here's another one called Child's Play. This is the art of Stan and Jan Berenstain, and they did the Berenstain Bears and all that. I bought this at the dollar store a few years ago, and this is a big, heavy cover coffee table book. And it was originally going for $35 in the US, but this was at the dollar store, and it has a shrink wrap on it, and I never opened it up. But I figured for $1 I wasn't going to leave this lay behind, so wasn't really the biggest fan of the Berenstain Bears, but it was part of my childhood, and I remember watching it when I was young. So I figured for $1 I would pop on that one. Now here's some more signed books. This one's from a good friend of mine. This is The Strange Case of Dr. H. H. Holmes, who they say may have been America's first serial killer. And this was a film that was produced, a documentary that was produced by John Borowski. This is also his book, and he signed it up to me. Todd, best wishes, and thanks for all the support, John Borowski. And this is a really creepy, that's my old address. I don't live there anymore, but I forgot what did he put in here? Oh, that was his upcoming project at the time, which has already been out for several years now. That's Carl Panzram, who was another psycho serial killer, and John Borowski did a documentary on him as well. These are really nice books. When Todd, don't be a hater. John Borowski. I recommend both of these books, or both of these documentaries actually. And there's another one called Albert Fish that he did also. All three of those guys are wacky. Really good serial killer documentaries if you haven't seen them before. Next one is a book that was signed by the guy who claims to have shot bin Laden from SEAL Team 6, Robert O'Neill. He made a book called The Operator. I pre-ordered this as soon as I heard it was coming out, and he signed it right there. I was happy to pick this up. Now, I said he claims he shot bin Laden. He claims that he's the one that assassinated bin Laden, but they couldn't really pinpoint it to who, because he was swarmed by SEAL Team 6 and all guys went in all guns blazing. But he claims that he's firing the shot that killed Osama bin Laden. But that's the kind of stuff I like to read from time to time. Not going to turn this into a political talk. We'll keep moving. Here's another good friend of mine who recently passed away, Mike Resnick, who was a great author, won several awards for his works over the years. And he recently passed away a couple months back. And I was lucky to get a couple things signed from him. I picked these up several years ago. And that's my real name right there. He said, to Todd Sheedlow, with warm regards, Mike Resnick. And these books are really good. A lot of his books were turned into movies as well. This is The Return of Santiago, kind of a sci-fi-ish type movie, or a book. And then that's part 2 of this. This is the original Santiago, A Myth of the Far Future, and he also did sign this one as well. He was a really good guy, and he will definitely be missed. The cool thing about this, though, is his daughter took over his Facebook account so she can keep people updated, on different things from his life. She's going to share photos of him and from time to time, so she's going to keep his Facebook page updated. I thought that was really cool, because she was the one that got on his account and announced to his friends on Facebook that he passed away. And the next one here is The Art of Jay Ward. I really love Jay Ward's works. As a kid growing, I was born in the 70s, grew up in the 80s and 90s. But a lot of the 70s and 80s cartoons were the best in my opinion. And that's why I like to collect a lot of the Hanna-Barbera stuff as well. But this one was signed by Daryl Van Kitters. I wanted June Foray to sign this, but I didn't get a chance to meet her, and she passed away recently too, within the last year or two. I would have really liked to. She was the one that voiced Rocky the Squirrel from Bullwinkle. There's June Foray right there on the right. She lived a nice long life. I believe she was in her 90s when she passed away, so that's really good. But you guys may remember a lot of Jay Ward stuff from the 70s and 80s. Tudor Turtle. George of the Jungle, Rocky and Bullwinkle, of course. He did those little Indian chiefs. Dudley Do-Right was one of them too, one of his shows. Tennessee Tuxedo. Let's see, we'll go through the beginning and see if it lists. See if it lists who he did. Fractured Fairy Tales was another one that was really popular. Mr. Peabody, Aesop and Son, Dudley Do-Right, Fractured Flickers, Hippity Hopper, I don't remember that one. George of the Jungle. So this is a cool book. I really like this. See some of the behind the scenes stuff from some of the programs you grew up watching as a kid. It's fun to see that again. Next one I picked up from Cult Epics a few years back, and this is the Cult Epics Comprehensive Guide to Cult Cinema, and it comes with a DVD of a trailer reel. And this is a beautiful book. I mean, this is really nice. It's kind of silver. I don't know if they called that, if it's gilding when it's silver, but really, I think there's nudity in here too. So I'm just going to kind of flip through, but it's really a really high quality book. Nice glossy thick pages. A lot of the movies that are in the Cult Epics catalog. And this was also put out by Cult Epics, The Art of Roz Williams. He was a musician that passed away way too early. His music was great. I really love his music. Christian Death. I think he's buried at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery in a niche. I think he was cremated. I believe he committed, I think he took his own life. But I think he was only, I don't think he even hit 30 yet. He was pre-30 or just 30. And he had a lot of talent. But he was fighting demons. He fought demons for a long time. And I guess the demons won. It's a shame. Really, really good stuff. Cult Epics really puts a lot of time and effort in anything they do. All their prints are clean. Their books, whenever they do stuff like this, is really good. Here's a book you guys may remember that I picked up not too long ago. This is the movie posters for the Harryhausen movies. I have a few more to show, so I'm going to kind of step it up a little bit. Kind of flip through. I love this book. This is one of my favorite books. I was so glad I got this. It was very affordable too. And if you're a Harryhausen fan, I suggest you go check this out. If you want to pick this up, get it now before it's too late and sold out, and the next thing you know, you're paying double or triple for it. But this is a beautiful book. Again, very high quality. Thick, glossy pages. Good stuff. Here's a book called The Art of the Nasty. These are all the, or maybe not all of, but these are the films that were banned or cut in the UK. They called the films over there video nasties. And again, it's chock full of, movie posters and tidbits of information about some of your favorite films in here that maybe most of the stuff you knew already, but there's probably a few things in here you never knew before. So that's a beauty. Really glad to have that one. Here's an Arrow video book called Cult Cinema, the Arrow Video Companion. And this pretty much is just their version of the movies that they put out. So I'm just going to flip through. It's another nice book. So it's about 250 pages. And again, it's got, you know, poster art, stills from the film, a lot of essays and write-ups about the films, plural. Really nice stuff. And I saved the best for last, in my opinion anyway. Maybe some of you guys have heard of Joe Coleman. Maybe some of you haven't. I'm a friend of Joe Coleman, and this is called The Book of Joe. And it has essays by Asia Argento. And it comes with this nice dust jacket. I believe he signed this too. Yeah, he did. Let's see here. He's a pretty crazy guy. That's his signature. And then there's I bought this directly from him in 2007. There's a certificate of authenticity. There's a clip here on YouTube. I will share it because you guys may not find it on YouTube. I'm going to share it, and you can get a little snippet of this guy. He's preaching from a podium. I believe he's a Satanist or an atheist. I'm not sure. I think he's closer to a Satanist than anything else. He has his own way of thinking, and he does, you know, in a way, it's, you know, when you listen to Charles Manson talk, if you ever watch some of his documentaries or his interviews, you know, half of the things that Manson says were the ramblings of a madman, but the other half almost sounded genius. I mean, I don't know how you guys feel about that, but there were some things that Manson said that were just, I mean, it almost sounded like he was a genius. And that's kind of how Coleman is, Joe Coleman here. He's the same way, only he didn't run a family. I'll leave it at that, but a beautiful book, and this is one of my favorite books that I own in my collection. I've had this for a long time now. And again, if you guys are interested, I'll leave a link below in the description box. Go check that out. I think it's only like about a minute or so. It'll give you a good insight of Joe Coleman. I bet you'll become a fan after you see it. And then I guess that's it for this collection video. But I want to show you guys something really quick before I call it a video. I do have a box of stuff here. If you guys are interested in me going through I got a box set here, or a book, or a set here of Man, Myth, and Magic that I picked up. I think it was at a rummage sale some years back. I have 24 volumes of that, and then I also have Crimes and Punishment. If you guys would be interested in seeing that, let me know. And also, I'm going to be recording another video tonight, probably, because I'm going to be selling some strategy guides for PS4, or I guess it doesn't matter what system it's for. It's just a strategy guide. I have The Witcher 3, Fallout 4, Resident Evil 5, Dragon Age Inquisition, Dragon Age 2, The Elder Scrolls 5, Skyrim, Assassin's Creed Origins, and The Evil Within 2, and then Mafia. So I'll be doing a video showing that. I'll be selling these. So if anybody's interested, stay tuned for that. That's it, guys. We'll wrap it up. Thank you for spending some time with me. I hope you guys are all well. And take care. See you in the next video.